and welcome to my channel. If you enjoy this video and the other content here, please consider liking and subscribing. And if you want to be a part of our community, we have a Discord server which will be linked below in the description. But without further ado, sit back, take a deep breath, and relax. And I hope you enjoy the video. Hello. How are you doing? In this video. Okay, right, no. This is a better way to start this, right? For those of you that don't know, I recently restarted uni and I'm doing a writing course, right? And there's this writing practice thing where you are supposed to write for at least 10 minutes every day, and you are not allowed to edit anything. You're not allowed to go over it once you're done. So it's first draft, no edits. If you use a word and you think 2 minutes afterwards, oh crap, I think this word would have been way better, not allowed to use that. So I've been doing this writing practice thing every day for about 10 days now, and I thought I could have had this realization of, oh my god, I can just read these out in a video, because people like not only the stuff I write, but they also obviously like my voice. So here we have the first one, and I will try to give a bit of an explanation as to what is going on in these ones as well. Let me take a sip of my drink. Okay, I remember this one. So this one is about a cultist. He's a teen? Yeah, he's a teenager or something, I think. Yeah. And this first little bit is him in the basement performing a ritual. And then eventually, if I had carried on writing this, he would have gone upstairs and it would have been revealed that he's literally just in a regular house and he's got a regular family. And his mum just does not believe that he's in a cult, even though he's completely straight up about it. He's just like, Mum, I'm in a cult. And she's like, oh, is that what they're calling the support groups now? I'm so happy for you, darling. And then, he gets so frustrated trying to, tell her. But anyway, that's where I would have taken it if I carried on. This is only a very, very short little bit of writing. So, here we go. This is day 1 of my writing practice. I give up. I'm done. This is impossible. How in the 7 hell-bound depths of darkness has anyone ever achieved this? Hours upon hours of attempts, different rune configurations, multiple discordant inflections on the incantation, and still nothing. I stare intently at the artifact before me, its deep obsidian black stone seeming to devour the surrounding light, the small carvings of the lost languages of the eldritch ones. I had grown so used to the deep dread this magnificent piece produced, it almost felt comforting now. The deep dark calling to me, beckoning me to join it in beautiful oblivion. My deep inspection of the artifact is what drew my eye to the corner of the plate I had it resting upon. Chipped. My countless hours of summoning the eldritch powers, pulling on knowledge that has driven lesser men to the endless depths of madness, reciting words that could shape worlds and bend fates, all rendered naught by a chipped plate. The hunger demanded perfection. It demanded its followers presented offerings in pristine condition. It demanded more than some chipped plate. I sighed. probably deeper than I ever had, the crushing weight of defeat pressing my shoulders into a low stoop, made ever worse by how foolishly simple my mistake was. Stumbling across the floor of the basement, my head hung in shame, I reached the stairs, adorned with a silken crimson-red carpet, leading to the house above. And then, like I said, would have, gone upstairs and then completely regular house, and a mum there's absolutely no idea what her son's doing. Now day 2. I don't remember all of these, so I'm not going to remember what they are until I open them up. So do give me a second in between, please. Thank you very much for your patience. It is about, I think I was playing Space Hulk Deathwing, where you're on this really cramped ship, and there's these really dark, enclosed corridors, and then these horrible tyrannids trying to chase you down and murder you, and they're these horrible clawed, fanged creatures. And I think I took inspiration from that, if I remember correctly. So, this is day 2. The clicking and scuttering continued to harrow what little sanity he had left. The walls seemed to grow ever closer, slowly suffocating the corridor around him. Speaking of suffocation, oxygen was low. Yali cautiously moved onwards. A stash was nearby. All he had to do was get through this without one of those things tearing him apart. A sudden bang reverberated somewhere ahead. He raised his weapon, his breathing slowing down, the reflexive years of training bringing him to the ready in moments, despite how worn and ragged he had become in the past weeks. The mounted torch shone a weak beam, barely illuminating what lied ahead, but it was enough to see the grate that had fallen to the floor. The scuttering continued, a seeming barrage of the senses, no true origin nor direction, just the constant pinging of claw and chitin against metal. Yali took a few tentative steps forwards, holding his weapon with an ever-tightening grip, the sound of his underlayer bodysuit squeaking as layers rubbed against the poorly maintained weapon. Shining his light up towards the ventilation shaft that the grate had fallen from, Yali stared for a moment, the scuttering reverberating from the vent. He waited, his finger poised at the trigger, for once he could discern the direction of the noise. It was moving towards him. He widened his stance, bracing himself in the firing position drilled into him so many years ago. Gotcha. The scanner finally managed to discern some movement. Old piece of crap couldn't pinpoint one of these monsters until it was practically on top of him. That's what made the noise worse. Feeling like it was all around, not knowing if it was close or far, whether he was about to fight for his life or not. So, he was ready all the time, because they jump out at any moment, these things. If you aren't ready, if you don't get the first shot in, well, you might as well make peace with your gods, because you won't have many seconds left to do it. Closer and closer, the small blip on his HUD drew ever nearer. He was ready, barrel honed, breathing steady. He was going to smoke that bastard as soon as he saw its vile, fanged maw. Click-clack, the noise continued, screaming down the corridor, dust dancing down into the beam of his flashlight. Yarli moved his finger to the trigger and braced the stock against his shoulder. Click-clack. Seconds away now. Any moment, the horror would burst through, birthing but moments of anarchy into this desolate corridor, with only one coming out alive. Yarli was determined that be him. He wasn't going to die here, on this carcass of a ship drifting through the void. He was going to get out of here, free from this place, free from these things. Somehow. Click-clack. Almost here. Life or death. The hungering maw of a monster. Silence. He dare not glance away at his scanner, but as the seconds drifted by, extended into a seeming eternity, Yarli took the risk. A brief glance, followed by the immediate repositioning of his gaze on the vent. Still nothing. And the blip was gone. It just disappeared. Honing his ears in, he listened carefully for the slightest noise. And there was nothing, save the ambient whirs and hums of his Evo suit. Blood still pumped vigorously throughout him, his body still prepared to fight, adrenaline coursing through his veins, the burning hot primal urge to survive still honing his every move. Eventually, his body and mind calmed, the knife's edge of instinct backing down, back to its burrow. The rest of the short walk was thankfully uneventful. He reached the door, removing the dead panel and pulling out his makeshift device, fumbling with wires and buttons, eventually resorting to a swift thud with his hand to get the thing working. He connected his device to the door's exposed panel, trying to reignite life in the long-dead system. That's when he saw it. In the corner of his eye, in the reflection of the panel screen that lay down on the floor. It had waited. Yarli took a sizable gulp as his mind scrambled to rapidly assess the situation around him. His weapon was beside him, but in the moments it took to grab and ready the rifle, it would close the distance. But it was moving closer by the second, and he had no other options. The more time he wastes, the less time he's going to have left in his life. Not here. Not now, he whispered under his breath, readying himself. Only the fate inhuman glow of its eyes could be seen in the dim lighting of the derelict ship, its claws slowly and silently gliding itself along the top of the ceiling. In a motion as swift as he could muster, Yarli threw his device to the ground with one hand and reached for his weapon with the other. He knew he couldn't aim his weapon before the thing was on top of him, and he wasn't planning on trying to. In the same second that he moved, the creature leapt. A maw of excessive rows of fangs opened up, the bottom half of the jaw separating into two as the horrific clicking roar that had haunted Yarli for so many nights was screeched, claws outstretched, ready to rip metal and tear flesh. Yarli planned to oblige the creature's wish. If it wants him, it can have him. Starting with the stock of his rifle, in a single sweeping arc, Yarli swung the weapon at the creature, the robust, reliable body of the weapon creating a satisfying crack as it met chitinous plating. Flung aside and past him into the corner, partially by its own momentum, the creature took but a second to recover. A second was all he needed. The creature's head snapped back towards him, fangs bared, only to be met with a single scorching bolt of energy, the sound of air hissing as the heat of the blast sliced through the air, with a screeching sound Yarli far preferred. The bolt was placed dead center of its fanged maw, scorching flesh and shattering the skeletal structure it contacted, causing a singular hole to burst from the other side of the creature's bulbous head, scattering blood, flesh, and chitin across the wall. Despite this, Yarly placed another bolt into the creature's lifeless corpse. This one, burrowing center mass. "Can never be too sure," he said, with shaky breath, his shoulders heaving with his fast, shallow breathing. A small sequence of beeps echoed from his makeshift device, indicating the door had been unlocked. The door creaked and groaned as it begrudgingly moved its servos for the first time in God's knows how long. The distinctive crest of the Elemnos, a silver star, splitting in two as the halves of the door separated. Beyond stood another corridor, identical to the one Yarly stood in. "Rinse and repeat," he sighed, raising his weapon as the clicking of claws arose once more. That's probably one of my favourite ones. I'm really happy with this one. Especially for like I said, it's basically like doing a first draft. You're not allowed to edit it. So for something that is not edited at all, I'm very happy with how it turned out. Alright, this third one, if it opens up for me. Ah, yes, okay, right. This one is based on Warhammer, the Horus Heresy. One of the models that I have in front of me right now, actually, is a Contemptor dreadnought. And dreadnoughts are basically like when a space marine gets like really heavily injured, but like still alive, but they're not like combat functional anymore. Like they cannot go back into the fight. They put them in a sarcophagus that's got life support, and then they stick that sarcophagus into a dreadnought. A dreadnought's just a giant mech suit, basically. So these space marines, even though they might be missing all of their limbs or something, can still fight for the Emperor and all that jazz, or for the Chaos Gods, depending on which side you're on. So this is about a space marine who is waking up in a dreadnought for the first time, in the middle of something called the Burning of Prospero. So the homeworld of Prospero, which is the homeworld of the Thousand Suns Legion. If you need to know more about them, check out my nerdy rambles, or otherwise, I'm not going to explain them here because it will take forever. And the Space Wolves are landing on Prospero with the intention to kill them all. They're another Space Marine Legion, the Space Wolves. So, this, my writing practice for day 3, is about the Burning of Prospero. Here we go. Cold. It was so cold. Everything. Not like ice, more like emptiness. He was cold because he was empty. Like floating in the void between realities, gliding atop the waves of thought and emotion that rippled like waves, gently rocking. Peace. Was this what peace felt like? He closed his eyes and dreamt of home. Golden spires glistening in the radiant heat of Prospero's resplendent sun. His brothers, his legion, his home. So calm, so beautiful. Peace. This feeling was abruptly put to an end as flashes of another Prospero grew in his vision. The skies wept ash, the land bled oil and pocked with craters and track marks. The spires burned, their beauty scorched to cinders before his very eyes. The people's screams as their home died around them, sputtering smoke into the sky and weeping blood into the streets. Prospero burned. No. Prospero burning. Prospero is burning. Prospero is burning. His eyes jolted open, met with another cold void, but not one of peace, one of metal and amniotic fluid. He was not floating, he was suspended in a life support system. The soreness of the wires and tubes made themselves known to his mind now. They stung like open wounds in the bitter wind. Then light, flickers of light amongst the darkness. I call you forth, brother Amnost. What? What happened? Where was he? Heed me. Answer the call of Prospero's people. The wolves of Fenris. Stir from your slumber. Serve the Legion once more. Our cousins came to kill us. I invoke the machine spirit and the brother within. He was fighting at the Sanctorum. Rise, fight once more for the sons of Magnus. Under fire, then a flash, an explosion, then the shockwave, then darkness. Awaken, brother Amnost, dreadnought of the 15th Legion. Prospero is burning. Awaken. Now, unfortunately with that one, I can't really read it like I want to, I suppose, because, obviously I don't want to be shouting and screaming, but I do wish I could put more oomph into the delivery of these, but it's supposed to be relaxing, not, me screaming at you. It's supposed to be, closing your eyes and heading to bed. So, those are the first 3, right? Day 3 it was. Yeah. So I think I will leave this here and we'll pick up with another one and we'll do another couple next time. But I hope you enjoyed. This is a really fun little writing exercise for me to do, and I hope you guys had fun with it and, had fun listening to it. I know they're not the best, but like I said, you're not allowed to edit them, so I can't make them any better. They have, the whole exercise is about acceptance of your inner critic, basically. Because obviously as you're writing this, you're going to be thinking, oh, this is bad. Oh, I should have used this word or that word. And it's about writing it and just accepting it. And kind of building those kind of writing muscles up, I guess. And getting used to writing a little bit every day and writing just on the spot, random things, whatever comes to your head. That's basically what this exercise is. Like, even if you can't think of anything, you're supposed to just write down nothing. Like, you write down the word nothing, and you just go from there, and you just basically word vomit onto the page. So, with that slightly disgusting analogy, I hope you've enjoyed my word vomits onto pages. I hope you have a good day or night, whatever time it is for you. And if you are asleep, I hope you have wonderful, wonderful dreams. And this is me popping into your dreams. Hi, it's Brad. Hey, yeah, it's me. Yeah, I know, I'm quite handsome. I get it. No, it's fine. Yeah, I know, really, I know, devilishly good looking. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, okay. You have good sleep. Yeah, I'm gonna leave your dreams now. Okay, bye. Anyway, bye. Hey there, thank you for watching this video, but just before it ends, I'd like to take this chance to thank all my disciples of Jesus Christ patrons. If you'd also like to support me, you can check the links below. But until the next time, take care of yourself, have a good day or night, and I'll see you in the next video.